Hi, welcome to A Man for All Seniors. I'm your host, Pete Schroeder, and today we have another letter from a caregiver out there in the trenches. This series we call Tales from the Caregiving Front, and it describes a situation that someone finds themselves in, and it sets it up in terms of a situation and then also a solution. In other words, how they resolve the issue. So today, we have a letter from California, and it goes like this. Here's the situation. It took a lot of courage for me to approach Lou. He needed me so back then. Even today, he needs me, but things are different now. Back then, we were spending every hour of every day together, morning, noon, and night. But his accident left him in a recuperating lifestyle for an expected 6 to 8 weeks. 4 months later, he was still recuperating, and I was his constant companion. I was beginning to feel trapped. Not one activity did I dare do for fear something might happen to Lou. But I knew sooner or later I had to say something. I was waiting for the perfect time. So the situation is very common to caregivers who find themselves the companion of someone morning, noon, and night. They have no time for themselves. They can't figure out how to get time for themselves, and they feel trapped and resentful. So this was this woman's solution. It was actually Lou who brought it up. One morning at breakfast, he was still buried in the newspaper when he said, "Why don't you go take a walk?" He never talked while he read the paper. I was shocked. "Excuse me? What did you say?" He surprised me by recalling how I went for morning walks for years, every morning when he went off to work. How did he remember that? I used to love those walks. I'd explore neighborhoods, look up at the trees and sky, smile and nod as others walkers marched by. Conversations would take place in my head, or I'd hear songs that I loved. I'm sure those walks were beneficial physically, but really the emotional reward was the most cherished result as I think back. So Lou and I talked about it all morning. I felt so supported and loved. I got up the next morning connecting with that great feeling again. The feeling that I knew so well. After my morning walks, I always felt alive as never before. And today I was going to reconnect with that aliveness. I could not stop smiling. I honestly believe Lou is happy for me because now, weather permitting, I walk for an hour every morning. And I take a cell phone with me in case of emergency. And I believe he feels good about being by himself for a little while, watching some TV or reading some magazines or the newspaper or just relaxing. My morning walk makes the rest of the day better too. So this is a nice solution to a problem. When she felt trapped, there was nothing she felt she could do about it. But in fact, she had to take some action. And fortunately, Lou, her husband, was agreeable to it. In fact, he suggested it. So this is a nice example of how a person can, in fact, make time for themselves even when they think it doesn't exist. So I hope you find this letter helpful. If you have any situation that you'd like to describe in terms of a situation and then a solution, please send it to us.
Hi. The video that you've been watching was created a few years ago. Obviously, I had a little more hair, and I did not have this lockdown growth, as I call it. However, the information in the video still applies today. In fact, it's more important than ever to take care of yourself if you're taking care of a loved one. With the quarantine going on and this pandemic, it's tough. We can't get out as much as we used to. We can't socialize like we used to, which is another important component of a healthy senior life. And it's just a challenge in new ways that we have to face when we're caregiving for a senior, and we're taking care of ourselves at the same time. If you have any questions or comments that you'd like to send in, please send them to pete@peteschroeder.com, PETE@PETESCHROEDER.com, and I'll be happy to respond as quickly as I can to your questions and comments. Also, if you have a story to share, I'd love it if you'd put it in the form of a situation and then a solution. And we can add that to our Tales from the Caregiving Front, which is the series that we've been kind of accumulating over the years from real life stories from all over the country. So it's a pleasure to be with you again. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you have any comments, like I said, please send them my way. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.